Michael Jackson biopic likely to move to 2026.
Mm,
Shocked face. Um,
yeah.
okay, so it says Michael Jackson fans will have to wait a bit longer for Anton Fuqua's biopic, Michael, which carries a roughly $155 million budget. Also stars Coleman Domingo and Nia Long as family heads Joe and Catherine. Um, it says here during Lionsgate's Q4 2025 earnings call, CEO John Feldheimer shared an update on the film starring Jackson's nephew, Jafar Jackson, who makes his big screen debut in the project. In regard to our Michael Jackson biopic, we're excited about 3.5 hours of amazing footage from producer Graham King and Antoine Fuqua, and we will be announcing a definitive release strategy and timing in the next few weeks, he said. I would note
Mm,
that it is likely we will move Michael out of the fiscal year, which will impact fiscal 26 financial results, but will bolster an already strong fiscal 27 slate. So, by the way, everybody, the fiscal year ends in March 31st, ends on March 31st, 2026. So basically, this means that the film is now coming out after April 2026. Chris,
hmm.
thoughts, opinions,
Yeah.
disappointing at all
Um,
for you like it is for me?
yeah, I'm feeling all the things right now. Like I'm trying to be as fair as I can be about this because again, I know there are a lot of moving parts to making a movie. It's not it's much bigger than just having a good script and a good cast. Like there's a lot of things that go into it. From what I've read online so far, um, it's believed that the pending legal case with Wade Robson, James Safechuck, and all that is a factor in this. Um, so I'm kind of torn on how to interpret that. Again, are they using that as a scapegoat, or are they just trying to address that court case as quickly as possible? And then once it's out of the way, then it's like full steam ahead for the biopic. So I'm kind of leaning more towards the optimistic side. I'm thinking that they want to address, this court case and get it out of the way so it's not a distraction for when it's time to promote the movie. But that's my stance. What about you?
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I do. It does bring a lot of questions into my mind when I think about the fact that the reason that's been given is, hey, we realize that we've shot footage around this court case that we realized we couldn't use. I mean,
Hmm.
this is the same estate that was aware that like HBO had a special clause in their contract years ago when they
Yeah.
did the Dangerous Live in Bucharest special that they could never do anything that would disparage Michael's name or put out um, any programs like that, which they did. And then the estate ended up
Right.
winning in court and all that, to my knowledge. So I'm
Hmm.
shocked that they could film an entire movie, center the script around this case, beginning and
Hmm.
end, from what I've heard. And now they have to scrap all of that. To be honest with you, I'm hoping that that's not the case. I hope that it's all because no one's really confirmed that. It's all still been hearsay. Of
Yeah.
course, we have like deadline.com, variety.com, but again, like not necessarily that these are tabloids, but these are all publications that are fighting to be first. Like, how accurate
Yeah.
is this information? Lionsgate hasn't said that, right? They just
Hmm.
said, hey, the movie's coming out in 2026 now, probably. Estate hasn't said anything beyond, hey, we're just waiting on Lionsgate and GK Films, which we know is not completely true, but they're trying to
Right.
also distance themselves from the fact that this biopic is now taking way longer than they expected. Um,
Hmm.
but I just hope that they've done their due diligence with this. And I have full faith that this is going to be a really great biopic. It's going to be record breaking, but I hope that things are not falling apart behind the scenes. That's my hope. Because I'm like, how could something be now a whole year later? It's just, I mean, more than a year because it's going to be after 20 April. It's going to be after April 2026, more than likely. The original
Right.
date was April 2025. So,
Hmm. Yeah, I'm right there with you. Like I'm hoping that there isn't. I hope they're not imploding behind the scenes. Because to know like production wrapped up last summer. I think it was like June or July is when it wrapped up. So to know that, I mean, it's basically the film is in the can. And to my knowledge, it's like fully edited. But then, like you said, I saw the same report where it's like, okay, there could be some parts in here that we have to take out for legal reasons. So it's like, okay, well, how much of that it has to come out? Number one, and then number two, how's that going to affect the rest of the story now that you have to take this huge chunk out? Like, is that going to require lengthy reshoots and having to invite everybody back on set and then having to, you know, work on the script to make it coherent because now you're having to take this huge chunk of it out. So I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of moving parts to this. So I'm gonna try to be optimistic, but there's still a part of me that's kind of jaded because of the estate, not being as transparent as I would like for them to be. But I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, as far as if they're still trying to gear for Oscar season, then I think realistically we're still looking at September, October of 2026 at this point, which
Wow.
is not a fun thing to say because that's
Wow.
typically when most Oscar movies tend to get promoted. So um, I would love for it to come out during the summer. I think that would be a fantastic time. Like it would be like, okay, like this is the summer of MJ. Like if it came out, like that would sell
Yeah.
itself. But yeah, if it's gonna be after April 2026 and they're gearing for Oscar season, then yeah, it would probably be in the fall that we would see the movie come out. So we'll see.
The only thing I think that gives me a little bit of like optimism about this extended timeline now is that perhaps they will now have an even more extended marketing campaign for this movie.
That's a good
Uh
point.
yeah, I mean, the whole thing it like is, it's been pushed back so many times, and I was having this conversation with another fan the other day about, okay, I hope this doesn't kind of like ruin the movie in the public's eyes, but I think it's only us fans that are keeping up with these updates.
Yeah,
Like
pretty much. Yeah.
right? Like I don't think people are keeping up with this kind of stuff outside of us.
Yeah, because and again, I'm trying to think like in the general audience sense, they don't start paying attention to a movie until they start seeing promos for it. And at this point, we haven't seen anything. I mean, apart from some small
Yeah.
announcements here and there, some leaked photos, things like that. But yeah, to the mass audience, until they see a full TV ad or they see something like as they're scrolling through social media and they see an official trailer in their mind, it doesn't exist yet. So you're right. I think we're making it more important than it needs to be because we want to see this make history. I'm not going to pardon the pun since we're talking about history, um but no, like we want this to do so well, and given the track record of the folks that are involved, with Lionsgate, Bohemian Rhapsody was a huge hit. Like, so we want to see Michael, raise the bar as high as possible and be like, okay, Michael's up here. Can you top this?
Absolutely. And, I just think about, the fact that the family is so heavily involved in this and
Yeah.
they have mentioned a couple of things that, well, at least I know like Taj's documentary, he mentioned, well, he doesn't want to release his and, to be
Mhm.
along the same timeline of the biopic. So now I'm like, okay, is that going to be pushed back again? As
Yeah.
well as the estate had released their in their email that they have kind of paused some of the projects that they're working on to kind of
Mhm.
let the biopic lead the way. So it does make me wonder, are we going to get anything going on in the Michael Jackson world? And it's funny because I haven't even seen, and they do this every year, but there's also the yearly annual party that they have for Michael Jackson's birthday in Vegas in August.
Yeah.
So I'm very curious as to if they're still going to have that because you know that the fans are all going to be trying to grill the
Mhm.
estate about the movie. So
Yep.
remains to be seen.